Hey everyone, welcome to Watchers Week, a podcast where we're going to review and discuss all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies leading up to the release of the Avengers Infinity War, April 27th, 2018. That's when it's coming out. It's a nerdy show for nerdy people because that's who we are and that's who we care about. My name is Tim. You guys already know that because I'm making up for my terrible joke last time if you listened to our last episode. Um, and always, I'm joined by the ever funny Steven.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Woo!
Yeah. And also Dr. Cosmic himself, Chaz. Chaz, how's it going?
Listen, Steven, you got to get better at this part of the job. What you got to do.
Woo! Woo!
All right. So we're going to be talking about this episode. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming, the MCU's first take. Well, I mean, Civil War kind of counted, but not really, of Spider-Man. I don't think anybody was expecting an origin film. Did you guys think we'd see the spider bite or Uncle Ben dying again in this movie?
You know, we got mention of the spider, I think, when Ned was drilling him with questions. He said something like, "The spider's dead, Ned." So, I mean, we got that. We just got the tiny bit of the spider bite and the Uncle Ben dying. I think I'm 90% positive Aunt May is single. I don't think there was any pictures of her with a guy in her apartment, but I could be wrong. There was a lot of details I missed from this film because of Spider-Man being so cool. But yeah, I didn't expect the Uncle Ben. I did expect a spider bite, which I didn't get.
Agreed. Yeah. I was actually, I think I was expecting the spider bite more so. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have shown Uncle Ben in like a flashback scene. But I always had a feeling that they're going to save that for either, who knows, maybe Infinity War, or if they're going to save it for the third installation of this new Spider-Man trilogy to sort of wrap it up and tie it all together. Wouldn't be surprised if they do that, but who knows? I mean, we might see a flashback in Infinity War.
Yeah, I was gonna
pretty cool.
I was gonna say there's a moment here where I would have loved a flashback, and we'll get to that moment. I'll point it out later. But yeah, we do. I think we get a little mention of Uncle Ben. I think when Ned finds out that Peter's Spider-Man. Peter says, "You can't tell." Of course, Aunt May doesn't know. Like, you can't tell her, not with everything she's going through or what she's been through. I forget what he says. Like, not at this time. She's been through a lot or something.
I just assumed
So yeah.
I was gonna say, knowing Marvel, they're gonna do a twist before that and say like something else, like her kid died, her kid named Ben died, or something like that.
No way. Get out of here.
No, I just think that they are saving it probably for a big moment. And like, I think they're going to kind of just feel it out. Like, they're going to wait for that moment and then they're going to pull the trigger.
Right.
Which will be great. Because,
like I said, I think there's a big moment in here, which I think a lot of people would appreciate it at. I know I would have.
Yeah, I know
But
what you're talking
I could
about.
totally see them pulling it later down the road.
Yeah.
So this movie starts off with um, us getting introduced to Michael Keaton's character, Adrian Toomes. I thought this was a super innovative way to introduce what happens after all of these huge battles that everyone goes through, and having Michael Keaton as one of these kind of blue collar characters to clean up after them was really interesting. I think they're cleaning up the same what are they called? Leviathans? I think he's cleaning up the same Leviathan that like Hulk and Thor take down, right? Where like uh Hulk punches Thor.
Yeah, they're called Mama Chitaris. The Mama Chitaris.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
Wormy
Okay.
bears.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mama Wormy Bears.
Yeah. So we get introduced to Michael Keaton and his crew, um, Shocker 1 and Shocker 2,
And the
um,
Tinker.
and the Tinkerer, yes, which I thought was very interesting how we got him in this movie. I know they mentioned it a bit, and I thought he was going to be kind of a larger part, but I mean, I'm glad at least they kind of like, kept him to uh, kept him on the screen a lot more than I thought he was going to be. But I was going to say on Shocker 1, Shocker Prime or whatever, Logan Marshall Green, or AKA Discount Tom Hardy, as I like to call him.
Oh, is he in that Upgrade movie?
Yeah, he's up in that upcoming movie and stuff like that. But oh
Nice.
man, I just like when
He
I saw, I
sort
was
of
like, is that Tom?
is. Yeah.
Is that Tom Hardy? Yeah, the whole movie, and I was like, man, they got Tom Hardy and Michael Keaton. Like, man.
That's how you
So
get
yeah, and
Venom
then
in the MCU. That's how you get Venom in the MCU right there.
right, Shocker and Venom. Uh-huh. Um, so yeah, we also get introduced to damage control. Remember, I don't know, did that ever, do you guys remember when there was like a rumor that they were going to do like a damage control TV show? Or it was going to be like either Parks and Rec or The Office, I forget, but like
Yeah.
one of those kind of shows.
Yeah. And
I thought,
then DC came up and was like, yo, we're doing a show where, what was it called? The DC version that was basically like damage control.
Yeah, they were like just working for like the
Lex
Wayne
Luthor's cousin.
Tower, right? Or something.
I
I
forgot what
thought,
it's called in DC. But anyway, that show lasted like a couple of episodes and then got canned. Uh, but yeah, I was waiting and waiting for the damage control show and nothing ever happened. I think they just once it seems like once the Netflix shows started doing their thing, they kind of I guess the damage control fizzled out.
yeah,
Yeah.
a TV show with no superheroes, and that didn't do well. Surprise, surprise. We'll just
And
say Spider-Man's off outside the screen, but they'll totally love it. They'll totally love all the drama we have between coworkers. It's gonna be
Well, I
great.
mean, that's basically what they do in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, but
well,
they're
let
heroes.
let's not forget though that even a show with heroes can fail, i.e., Inhumans.
Oof,
Oh yeah.
those aren't heroes. Those are just horrible, horrible people. They're like villains, I think.
But
I,
anyway, yeah, it was a cool little nod.
Yeah. I just really appreciated the whole ingraining and cementing all the kind of different small details that the MCU keeps on trying to put into their movies, and the introduction of damage control, as well as the Vulture and all this other stuff that we'll eventually get into and stuff like that. But yeah, um, what did you guys think of the Vulture, by the way? Michael Keaton's character and his whole kind of idea of the world's changing and time that they changed to.
I thought it was very. It seemed like it was a response almost to Batman. I hate to say it, like what they're currently trying to do with Batman in the
Hmm.
movies, which I thought was kind of interesting, just because, as everybody knows, Michael Keaton played Batman. Just in case you didn't know, just in case you missed the last 20 years, and were frozen in some kind of weird capsicle. But anyway, so yeah, like I thought that was kind of a interesting little nod to that, because I mean it was basically the same thing, we gotta adapt and basically, good men become cruel or whatever because of the times. But yeah, I mean, I really loved this character more than I thought I would, because going into it, I was like, Vulture, really? Like they've been talking about this since Sam Raimi, and look what happened to that. Thank God it didn't happen, because I don't think Raimi could have pulled it off. But I was thoroughly, pleasantly surprised with uh, how this character came out to be, and it all is credit to Michael Keaton and his performance. I mean, I think he did a really great job at captivating this character, and
Oh, for sure. They're I'm surprised at how like Vulture was so not cool in the comics, and like you list him as a very known like Spider-Man rogue, but like out of your favorites, Vulture is not at all in like your top half. Like,
yeah,
oh man, I love Vulture as a bad guy. Like you're like, no, wait, what is his deal? You're like he's old and he's a bird and like it was just so confusing. So finally making Vulture cool and stuff like that, that was like the coolest
yeah.
thing I think they did.
The other great thing too was that he didn't escalate to being this, diabolical villain really quickly, as has happened before in previous
Right.
Spider-Man films. It was a gradual thing that happened, and they took their time with it. And he didn't get gassed like Green Goblin. He didn't suddenly get this symbiote suit like Venom.
Yeah, he was just a
Or
man who was pushed to the edge.
yeah,
Yeah, I really, really like this character. In fact, I liked him better than Spider-Man in this movie. He
Oh,
was completely amazing, and that may be because Michael Keaton is a more experienced actor than Tom Holland. And through the years, once they make, Spider-Man 8 with Tom Holland, he'll probably get as good. But for me, the Vulture, like you said, nobody's business. If you try to remember him at a Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery, he's just the old guy in the corner that does nothing, absolutely nothing. He just has to deal. He just kicks Spider-Man off his webs. That's really it. But then you get this character who is menacing and yet trying to be smart about it, trying to be a smart criminal by trying to be off the radar and not in the federal criminal base, and just, hiding who he is, lying to his family because he thinks it's right. It's one of those characters that we don't get in a while. And plus, he didn't talk to himself or talk like he wasn't crazy and trying, to communicate with his wings or anything like that.
oh yeah,
He really done it. He could have been whispering to them and been like,
the Spider-Man shtick,
"You sure?"
Spider-Man villain shtick.
Yeah. So that would have been.
Uh,
I'm glad they didn't do that. I love his outfit. I love the mechanical aviator-ness
yeah,
to it. And when he cut Spider-Man's wings on the ferry, that was awesome too.
well, he cuts his web.
Webs, right, right.
Yeah. Going back to the whole small things that they add in this movie, uh, I was I got really excited when they did the Marvel Studios logo over the orchestral Spider-Man theme. That was just awesome.
What a great way
Real,
to start the movie. Just like
right?
like a nod to it, and it got you pumped up for the movie.
it was also like very James Bondian as well,
Hmm.
like the way the music was arranged, because like you said, it was an orchestral version of that particular tune, which I've never heard before. So it was really satisfying.
And
Yeah,
plus,
and I mean, you got to have stringed instruments when you have a Spider-Man movie. It's just one of the one of his staples.
right. And plus, it was way better than hearing the usual Marvel anthem come out with the whole logo that took about 38 seconds of my
Well,
life from
it
each.
reminded me of that YouTube video that I'm sure people have seen that's been floating around where it said, how come Marvel movies don't have like iconic, or why don't superhero films have iconic like music, Star Wars has their iconic, themes. Indiana Jones has theirs, and stuff like that. Jaws, and superheroes don't really have any. And then it was the one at the very end where it was like, well, there was somebody who had uh, a good Spider-Man theme song, and it was or superhero theme song, and it was the Spider-Man theme. Like the Spider-Man theme is iconic. So for them to throw that in there was just like, them acknowledging what we all know.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before that uh, one of the reasons possibly that there aren't that many superhero themes as far as MCU films go is because they've been doing the long game and incepting us, and all we hear in our heads now is the Avengers score, and
Hmm.
it's all been building up to this moment. But yeah, as far as Spider-Man goes, I wonder if that was a part of like the Sony Marvel deal. Like, you got to make our guy shine, so don't just play that Marvel, regular old credit roll. You got to do something special. And Marvel was probably, or Kevin Feige, who knows, was probably like, oh no, I got something. All right, we got something, son. It's something you've been missing for a couple of years now.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to point out Peter Parker films horizontally. True hero. That's the mark of a true hero. When you film horizontally. Great job, Peter Parker. Done. Boom. End of movie. Peter Parker saves the day. Films horizontally. I thought that was an interesting also opening scene where we get to see the selfie vision or phone vision of all the stuff that happened in Civil War. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, uh, dude, Happy Hogan gets shafted so hard in this movie, it's almost not funny.
Well, I would say there's one other character other than Happy to get shafted, and that's Liz. Liz gets pretty shafted in this movie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's kind of the point. Like, it's not that he's doing it for terrible reasons. Like, Tony's just being a jerk to Happy for, not there's no good reason for no good reason. Whereas Peter is like, hey, I can't go to the dance with you. I have to stop your dad from selling weapon or stealing a bunch of super weapons. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure if he told her that, that'd be like, okay, sorry, I forgive you,
Oh, you're right. That's the appropriate response. I just think that we're used to Happy getting the shaft a lot in the film. Like, it's been 10 years.
But this
Or
one felt like a little heavy-handed. I mean, he was like, making fun of him about like him being demoted or something like that. And then next thing you know, he's like blaming him for like a bunch of stuff. And, it was crazy.
yeah, it makes you wonder how their friendship works, like what kind of relationship they have, because it's not like a father or a buddy or a brother kind of thing. It's kind of like a, I don't know,
I
like
would
a,
say I would say it's like an older brother, little brother situation, but or
uh,
kind of like this terrible roommate maybe situation.
yeah. Um,
uh Also Peter taking up his own luggage. True hero. True hero right there. Peter taking up his own luggage. I don't care if you're at a five-star hotel. Come on, you got too good. If you got too good working on, take up your own luggage. You know, great, great stuff. Um, but yeah, so we get introduced to Peter Parker's life at the school. What did you guys think of like all the school, the classmates? I mean, Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker itself, because we've had a number of Peter Parkers. So, what did you guys think of this whole of Marvel Studios' take on it?
well, for me, Tom Holland is the right age. I don't know how many times I have to say it. They finally got it right. Third time's the charm, I guess, but they got it right. He looks like he's supposed to be in high school. At times, it's, when he takes his shirt off and when he's dressing up as Spider-Man. What the crap? You're not,
Well, he
that's,
got bit by the spider.
yeah, I guess that's the spider doing that to him, but dang. But other than that, the dialogue for the teens and them being in a scientific school, which I don't know how he could afford. I wonder if he got a scholarship. But yeah, I mean, for me, the school was a little hard to get behind. It wasn't, the other characters, Flash, Zendaya, Liz. Ned was pretty okay. Ned is always great as a character, but I don't know. Peter Parker was the right amount of shy, right amount of being bullied. I like it. I really did.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And to your point about him being in tip-top shape for his age, I mean, he's going to have to do that for the next 10 years. So, like, if Chris Pratt starts whining about having to like hit the gym. Like I hope Tom Holland is there in the same gym, and like, dude, I'm gonna have to do this for like the rest of my life. I started when I was like 12. Screw you. Um, but yeah, like it's pretty great. Like Steven said, they got him at the right age. Uh, for me personally, I'm still I'm still a big fan of the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I mean,
All right.
it's
You live
such a
another
class
day. You live another day, chat.
it's such a classic movie, and it like captured not only some of the classic comics, but also the cartoon, and really like brought everything to life. And I'm just a sucker for an origin film. And this one, this portrayal of Peter, as we know, we didn't get the spider bite. We didn't get uh, Ben Parker, which is fine. I'm not entirely against it, but it's just, we have the stars have finally aligned on the other spectrum of things as far as like his age goes. And it's just kind of, I don't want to say disappointing, but disheartening, if
Yeah.
that's like a better thing,
Yeah.
that
That's good.
that we couldn't get the whole package. But
We're just never satisfied as fans.
but yeah, I will agree, like this is much like 1,000 times better than the Amazing series, because I was never a fan of those two films, not even the first one. I thought Peter was way too cool in those movies. This one, he's, like Steven said, he's the right amount of, nerdy. It's believable. He's actually bullied this time.
I think
And
it's a good blend, I was gonna say, but at the same time, when I saw Tom Holland in this movie as Peter Parker, Peter Parker doesn't have that bad of a life. Like it's kind of just on him not knowing how to manage all of it, which makes sense. Like that it portrays adolescence slash youth what very well. Like, you just can't handle it all of all this put thrown thrust upon you and all that kind of stuff. But when I think of the Sam Raimi movies and how Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker was, that dude's life was terrible.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
it was
got like
straight up garbage.
everybody at the school hated him. Everybody at his work basically hated him, or something like that.
At his apartment, they hated him,
At
except
his
one.
apartment, they hated him. Yeah. Like it was bad for that dude. So when he gets like powers or something like that, when he goes and does the wrestling career and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, I want to make money. I also want to like do all this kind of stuff. I want to get the car and all that. It makes sense because you're like, yeah, dude, your life is terrible. Let's, up that game, or something like that. Like you wouldn't be surprised if this guy almost like turned to a life of crime with how bad it was. But he's a good kid and all that kind of, or good kid, quote unquote kid. And yeah, that showed a little bit more of rising above and the whole great power, great responsibility thing. This one, it's okay. It's a healthy middle. Um, but I think Tom Holland does a real good job of being Peter Parker. I was gonna point out when him, I thought it was really great how they made it like he's totally not interested in school. Like he's Spider-Man. Like, dude, I want to just hurry up and get out of here so I can be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
Like I'm
was gonna
pretty
say
sure that was all of us. That'd be all of us if we were Spider-Man during high school or all that.
he's kind of a jerk to the school. He's like, man, F you, school. I'm Spider Man. I don't have to learn calculus. And
Well, I mean,
I
he
did
kind
not
of knows calculus.
yeah,
right,
I
right,
think he knows.
right. But, not like you have to go to calculus school. But
Right,
I
right.
don't know. I didn't like that part of the film. I guess I could understand it given, that he's seen the Avengers fight each other. He's seen Valhalla and he wants more of it kind of thing.
Yeah,
You can't your life has changed. Um
for
and
sure.
you just can't go back to Spanish 101 afterwards.
I paused the YouTube video of where Spider-Man stops that car from running into the bus. It's called Amazing Spider-Man Saves Bus Full of Kids by Rocket. And then the poster's the YouTube account that filmed it. Rocket Robinson 67 has like 150,000 views. The top comment is fake with like 12 thumbs up. I just wanted to get all that info and stuff like that. um, but then another little nice movie detail was that in his suggested one and his up next or whatever that side thing is where it talks about hacking a 2 terabyte hard drive and GMZ mod file and all that kind of stuff. So it shows that another hint at his dumpster diving that they showed in Civil War. So you know
Did
he's a nerd.
I would say that I never really understood. Did the spider bite give him enhanced, like, scientifically his mind? Like, did it
No,
alter?
he's always just been smart.
He's just always been smart.
He just likes science and stuff.
The spider bite didn't make him slightly smarter than people or something like that. Give him an
No,
edge on anybody.
no,
I hope not.
Oh, okay.
That'd
I
be
didn't
kind of
know,
weird.
but
no. He just likes science. He was a nerd before, so he did science with like Uncle Ben and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the spider only affected him physically.
I would say this, that I love the background characters of this school. Like the teacher from Freaks and Geeks, he was hilarious. That one kid who kept ringing the bell for comedic purposes was hilarious.
Abraham.
Yeah, the kid from the Bon Jovi concert, hilarious.
Hmm.
The chess kid, what'd you up to? Chess. You're like, oh, okay. Like they pulled the straight out of high school kids from this one and gave them like comedy lines, and it was awesome. I really like that.
Yeah, I think the only one that or I think the oldest one I should say is Laura Harrier as Liz Toombs. She's like, oh man, I don't even know. I forgot how she's the oldest one though, I think,
You
out
could
of
kind
all
of
the
tell, but she was
yeah,
supposed to be
actors,
a
and
senior, I think.
she is a senior. Yeah, so that makes sense.
Right.
Um, but yeah, Jacob Batalon as Ned Leeds, Abraham Ataz, Abraham, Zendaya as what's her character name? I just call her MJ now.
Yeah.
Michelle.
What's her Michelle? That's right. Martin Starr as the teacher. Yeah,
I did not like Michelle or MJ kind of as a person, mainly because she didn't conform to the school, and that school doesn't really need you to conform. It like
she
makes
too edgy for you, Steven?
no, you know, it wants you to be unique as a character in the school, you know, like fulfill your dreams, you can do anything through hard work. And yet she's just like lounging around, being all lazy, you know, doesn't want to be a part of the group and yet is part of the group. I don't know. I didn't like her character so much. Not that it's not because it's not MJ kind of thing, but just as a personal thing.
Well,
Steven doesn't like hipsters.
I was fixing to say, is this really going to be our? I mean, I have to call it Mary Jane because Michelle, is kind of
She's
weird.
not Mary Jane. She's Michelle.
She's Mary Jane.
She's our MJ.
She's MJ. They said
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
But
she
yeah,
going
no,
to
she's
be
not. The MJ doesn't stand for Mary Jane.
okay? So she's not Mary Jane, but she's
She's
going to be
MJ.
our MJ. Hence, we won't get a Mary Jane.
Right. That's what I'm thinking of. But honestly, I wouldn't mind them throwing in a Mary Jane or a Gwen Stacy, because that Peter's known for having a difficult, not only school life or at home life or superhero life, but also a love life. So for him to have like, oh, I don't know who I should like pay attention to or any that kind of stuff. Um, having we kind of lost Liz, who was supposed to be like based off of Liz Allen, who's another love interest of Peter. We lost out on that one. So to have MJ and like let's introduce like either Gwen Stacy or uh, Mary Jane. That I think that would be a little bit more interesting rather than just skipping that whole uh, kind of chapter of a young adolescent's life altogether.
who brings a mug, like a pottery mug, to school and fills it with tea? Where did she get the boiling water? She probably stole it from the teacher's lounge and just like walked up and like nobody could say anything. And she was like, "What are you looking at, fat face?" And the teacher's like sad now because she's like insults them. And she thinks she's oh so high and mighty because she reads a lot of books. Oh wow. Wow, Melissa, or whatever the hell your name is. You're so
All right.
cool.
All right, we get it.
Because you don't need anybody, don't you? You're that edgy, huh?
We get it. You really don't like hipsters.
She's
Yeah. See, my thing is, before all like the winos start complaining or whatever, I don't mind, if they change. I don't not like MJ or this version of MJ because they changed her race or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. But I just don't want the name Mary Jane to be lost,
Yeah, exactly.
So if they pull something in the future where they change her name to Mary Jane, where she's just been going by Michelle this whole time as like some weird alter ego, I'll be fine with that. I just don't want to be confused.
I don't think they would do that. I think they're very happy having Zendaya as Michelle, aka MJ. I don't think they're gonna retcon her as Mary Jane. I think that would be, Marvel Studios doesn't backtrack really. I mean, the only time they've ever done it is Hulk because of the whole Edward Norton thing.
I wouldn't really consider it backtracking though. I don't know. I'm kind of on board with them doing it if they do that. If they just keep her as a weird like fusion of the two characters, Michelle, and they just call her MJ or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. I was gonna say that's the thing. She's not supposed to be an amalgam of Mary Jane and Michelle because she has no aspects really of Mary Jane. She's just called MJ. Well, but I do agree with you.
I mean, she could,
Well, Mary Jane's supposed to be like, she's supermodel quality. She loves doing daring things. She's like, wants like kind of an adrenaline junkie, that kind of stuff,
Really? When was that? In the comics?
Yeah, in the comics. She does crazy stuff, but not like crazy stuff. Like she's like, you're like, okay, this is kind of, but she just kind of likes that, fast lifestyle.
I was gonna say I wanted to be clear that I don't want another Liz. I didn't want a dipsy girl who's like, yeah, Peter, I really like you too. I didn't want that for Michelle or Melissa or whatever her name is. I just didn't like her character as a whole. It's fine, keep her with whatever ethnicity you want her as. I don't care. Just nobody's hipster mug face she's wearing.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say that I understand how everyone feels about how like we're not getting Mary Jane because it's like a Clark Kent Lois Lane thing. It's supposed to be like Peter Parker and Mary Jane, and like that's that. The problem is that didn't fit in this movie at this point. However, I could see them introducing a Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane down later in the second film or the third film. But I don't think they're ever going to change the way Michelle is. I mean, they might slightly personality-wise, where she's, like Steven said, not so uppity, or, but I don't think they're going to say, hey, just kidding, my name is Mary Jane now, or whatever. They're going to just skip calling her Michelle and start calling her MJ.
Well, see, my thing is, what I was getting to is, while I would prefer them to just retcon it and call her Mary Jane, if they end up just keeping her as Michelle/MJ, that's fine too. But my whole thing is I would actually prefer them not to introduce another female, love interest, because I don't want the whole love triangle thing going on. I think it's better. I think I'd much rather see Michelle like evolve because we know Zendaya is like, model worthy. She can totally,
Well, no. Yeah, I'm
transform into the Mary Jane we need.
No. Yeah, but I feel like what makes Mary Jane as a person, not just her looks. My thing isn't saying like, oh, they're not going to make Michelle like Mary Jane is only defined by her being like a model and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying she has a different personality than that of Michelle.
Here, let me put it to you this way. do you think they're even gonna do a Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy? Because both times Maguire and Garfield did that. They both did Gwen
Well, yeah,
Stacy and
I was
Mary
gonna.
Jane. I don't think they're even gonna do those characters. I think they're gonna keep it Michelle and say like a little Easter egg as MJ, but nobody's gonna. I think she's gonna be her own unique character.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I think she's gonna be her own unique character, and they're gonna add Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy. That's what I've been saying.
They definitely
Well,
won't
no, I'm
add
not
Gwen
saying.
Stacy.
I don't think they're gonna add them at all.
Yeah, Gwen
Okay,
Stacy, definitely no. If they introduce Mary Jane, I'd be okay with it, but I'd rather just have the characters we have now and just see them evolve.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree. They could go either one, but a lot of people are trying to make Zendaya be Mary Jane, and that's not who she is.
Mm, yeah, I guess. I don't know. What were their
That was the whole thing when they were going out on tour and advertising this movie. Everyone was like, "Zendaya, are you Mary Jane? Are you Mary Jane?" And she's like, "No, I'm not. I'm Michelle. I'm Michelle. I'm Michelle. Michelle." And then later on, when it's revealed MJ, they're like, "You lied to us, Zendaya. You said you weren't Mary Jane, but clearly you hear you say MJ." And you're like, "Yeah, but she's not Mary Jane. She's Michelle."
do we have her last name?
It's like Jones, Michelle Jones.
Okay, so it is MJ. So her middle name could
But
be Michelle Mary Jones. Jones. I thought it was Jane. So she's not even
no,
Jane.
but Mary
She could
Jane
have
isn't
one of
her,
those.
Mary Jane isn't her first and last name.
She
She
could
has
have
two
one of those
first
weird
names.
forenames, though.
It's Mary Jane Watson. So she's not called MW. She's called MJ.
So she has to.
But see, I don't think they ever said Michelle's last name. I think we're all just. I think we
No,
assumed that.
it's Michelle Jones. Let me check it out.
I
I'm gonna
think
look it up right now.
IMBD or something. Yeah, they didn't say it,
Oh.
that's for sure.
Also, before we get lost in this, um, Peter Parker makes sure to pet Murphy the cat in the sandwich shop. True hero. Always make sure you're petting your cat, petting the cat. If it's in the room, you pet it.
If it allows you to, don't go running up to cats and trying to pet.
You go pet that cat.
Get your face clawed off.
Yeah, get your hands dirty with that cat.
What?
What? What are you talking about?
We're gonna pretend that never happened.
What about Flash Thompson?
Okay, here's my thing with Flash Thompson. He's totally gonna do steroids in the sequel.
What?
He's like,
kidding.
forget the decathlon. I'm going for Mr. Olympia.
Sports
No,
is where it's jackass.
No, to me, like Flash Thompson, it doesn't matter what he looks like. Whatever.
Yeah, Michelle Jones. It's her last name is Jones.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Well, you never know. Maybe her.
Do you know who you're talking to, Chaz? I know this stuff.
Maybe her mom either like I don't know leaves her dad or marries someone new, and then she gets a new last name. You never know. Stuff can happen.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
It's not her last name anyway. Mary Jane Watson. It's Watson.
No, I know, but
Her
that's what I'm
last name
saying.
isn't Jane.
Her surname could change
To
because
Watson, and then she gets also two first names.
No, it's
her
just
middle
Michelle.
name. Her middle name could be one of those weird hyphenated names that it's like Johnny Depp's daughter Lily Rose is like one. It's like one name, but it's like two names.
That's
weird.
the Mary Jane part.
Okay, so here's how we fix it. So her parents get
There's no
divorced.
fixing it.
I know.
Her parents get divorced. They get remarried. So now, and her middle name's Mary. So it's Michelle Mary Jones Watson.
What?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Get out of here. We're
MJ.
done.
Yeah. Okay. They need to just keep it the way it is. But then I myself would rather them not introduce anybody else. Just keep it Michelle.
Not at
I
least
could see them doing it, but I don't care.
Okay, so Flash Thompson. To me, doesn't matter as long as he's a bully. You can do whatever you want with him. This one's a psychological bully. I'm cool with that. I grew up with douche hats like that, so it's cool. I'm fine with it.
I think he played a great cartoon Flash Thompson, like in all the portrayals of Flash that we see in the cartoons, where he's kind of like a jokey character that you can't help but laugh at.
Yeah.
I mean, he does have funny scenes in here, but at the same time, you're like, if you were on the it's funny when you're not on the receiving end of that. But if you were the one being called Penis Parker, you're like, dude, I really hate him calling me Penis Parker all the time. So it's like it's kind of a very kind of, uh, you know, what's it called? I don't know what to call it, but it's like one of those just like harmless characters, you know. But yeah, I liked it better than the Amazing series or the Amazing movies. Flash. That Flash didn't really do anything.
Definitely,
That
yeah.
was, um, but dang, I'm forgetting the Flash Thompson and Sam Raimi. What's the actor's name?
I don't know, but he's old. That
Oh,
guy was 40 in high school.
Joe
Yeah,
Manganiello,
yeah,
something
the
like
one
that.
that's Deathstroke now. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty uh stereotypical and like it fit the role. He fit the role pretty well. But I mean, yeah. What's this guy's actor's name? Tony Ravioli or something?
Right. I
But
highly
yeah,
doubt it's ravioli,
it's something
but
along those lines.
we'll
But
go with
yeah,
it.
anyway,
Wait a
yeah.
minute. It in the comics or in the movies, is his name really Flash or is that a nickname he calls himself?
His name is Eugene Thompson.
So where does Flash come in?
That's a nickname.
Well, if he's not,
Flash, they named him Flash because in this version, he's always quick to answering the question, but he's not always right.
oh,
So he's
wow.
Flash because he keeps on being the fastest to like hit the button or the bell or
Oh,
whatever.
right. The teacher
And
said just because you're the first one doesn't mean you're right.
yeah, exactly. And then in the comics, it's because he's like a football player and he's like a running back or a quarterback or something. I don't know.
Do they have sports in this school? I don't think they have sports. They have
Well,
gym.
if they have sports, they're the characters that are reintroduced who don't participate in them.
Right.
I
Because
don't
it's
think it's like I think it is like actually a magnet school, isn't it? Isn't it like a science
which
or something?
makes me wonder how Peter got into it. I know it's because of his brains, but I assume you have to pay like heavy tuition because that's
No, it's like they pick the smart ones. It's not like the you have to pay in to get in. I mean, it's New York. It's not like MIT or anything like that.
I assume that's why Vulture went into the life of crime in order to pay the fines that the school is giving him for tuition or something.
No, he's getting ready for that college.
Wait, now that we're on the subject of Vulture, one of the things that I know people had a problem with, but I have like a counter argument for it, was why it took him so long to make like the Vulture tech from the Chitauri tech.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning of the movie, that was like, I think it was like just a couple of days after the Battle of New York, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, they're just like average Joe dudes. So it took them like, what, like 4 or 5 years to come up with that technology, maybe even longer.
Okay.
For what?
For like all his weaponry and vulture wings. So it wasn't just like overnight. Because I
It
think some
wasn't
people.
It wasn't years.
You don't think it was years? Because I mean, we still had
months, I would
in
say.
between Civil War and the first Avengers movie. That was like a pretty long time.
Yeah, I guess true. Well, I have the timeline here. Let me see.
I would
Let me
say
pull it up.
it's a couple of years because the Tinkerer was already doing the kind of
So
wingsuit but miniature.
this is the timeline in what's it? The canonical timeline, like in universe.
Okay.
So first it's Iron Man, then Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, and Thor are happening simultaneously.
When is Iron Man starting?
Iron Man starts in 2008. It
Really?
happens the same year it releases. Like it's supposed to be happening as you're
Okay,
watching
so
the movie.
skip
I
to
thought
the
it was
Avenger part because we need to know what's going
So
on during
so the
Avengers.
so the Avengers that's happening in June of 2010 because they say it's been more than a year since Banner last hulked out, which technically counts as Incredible Hulk. So June 2010 is Avengers.
Okay.
So then it's 2012 is Iron Man 3. Then it's Thor: The Dark World next year. And then in that same year of 2013 is The Winter Soldier. Then the next year is Guardians of the Galaxy. Next year is Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. Those two happen simultaneously.
Does it?
That's
So
why we don't see Falcon in Age of Ultron.
did they give a year in the beginning? I forgot.
But they said at the end of the movie when it says dropping bombs on Sokovia or cities, that was
Well,
an
no,
end.
no. I'm talking about the Vulture scene. Did they give a year?
Well, in
I don't.
Age of Ultron,
I don't think they did. No.
it's
Vulture
oh
in the beginning of this movie. They didn't give a year, so we can't really know like
in
when to gauge it.
Spider-Man Homecoming, yeah, that technically that the not that flashback, not the Vulture flashback, but the rest of the movie happened in 2017 of
Okay.
September. So
So yeah,
we
so
don't
yeah, it
we
was like a pretty good
it
like
could
6 to 7 years.
yeah, I guess you could say it was technically years if they did it right after Avengers
Because what I was saying
2010.
is that
So yeah,
people that I know who had seen this movie had a problem with it because they were like, "Oh, he made that technology too quick." They weren't complaining that, "Oh, it
true.
took
Okay.
him, X amount of years." That's what I
Yeah,
meant to say. I don't know if
I
I
thought it took.
confused that.
I knew it didn't happen overnight, but I didn't think it took years. But maybe it took them like 2 to 3 years to make that stuff, and then the rest of the time they were running the business because they look like they had it down packed in that
That is
flashback
true.
scene.
That is
So
true.
I mean, that never had. I mean, all right, the bird suit is made. Now what? Let's
My
go
thing,
take some stuff.
yeah, my thing is I don't mind if it took them several years because, uh, like I said, they're just like average Joes, everyday criminals. They're not really these like hammer guys or who else could you compare them to? Uh,
Bad people. Hydra.
Hydra, yeah, I guess they're not on that level. They're just,
Well, I would assume that they did a couple of jobs like just by themselves
Mhm.
to try to steal more tech from the Avengers fallouts and everything. But then, like, who comes up with the idea of a bird suit with like that? Nobody comes up with that right off the back. So they were thinking like, it would be better for a quick getaway and we can grab things. And they're like, okay, now let's do a bird suit. So I assume they did like the first couple of jobs with
The
just like
guns,
and stuff like that, and they just
the
tried to
laser gun.
climb
Yeah,
it on
well,
foot.
the reason they did the bird suit is because what year was it? Back in 2009, Mickey Rourke was saying, "I want my bird. I want my bird."
uh,
So
I
then,
heard that.
so then they gave him his bird, you know, and it was Michael Keaton. It was Birdman. They gave him Birdman, so he got his bird.
Uh,
um.
that was a
Also, I just wanted to again point out the school life that we are introduced into this, which I think again is pretty accurate. We even get to see a bunch of kids in the corner or whatever of PE, which Hannibal Buress as the gym teacher was hilarious. I thought,
great.
as well as those Captain America uh, infomercial videos or whatever training videos, whatever they're called. Those were pretty funny. But
Those are
yeah,
gems in movies, gems, pure gems.
mhm. But yeah, you saw some kids in the corner playing like F Mary Kill or something like that.
That was weird.
So,
That was
well,
really.
I was thinking we'd do a version
Oh god.
for the list of the Avengers roster.
Well, they did that already in the thing.
Well, I know, but this is I'm getting y'all's answers.
You gotta have three. You're gonna put three on us, right? We're not gonna choose from the entire Avengers roster.
No, choosing from the entire Avengers roster.
Wait. What? What's happening? Sorry, I was staring off into space. What? Wait, this is
Out of
live,
the
right?
out of the
I'm
Avengers,
just-
out of the Avengers roster, F Mary Kill.
geez. I definitely gotta kill. Um, gotta kill. Gotta kill ScarJo. Got to marry
Wait,
Mantis.
are we? Yeah, I was gonna say, are we talking about the Infinity War Avengers roster where everybody's an Avenger basically, or are we
Yeah,
talking about?
we'll do an Infinity War version.
Okay.
And I will F Vision because he's a robot.
So
Uh,
what is that? Hold on, why is that the reason?
Well, because I got a man crush
What is the
on.
because of robot? I need deeper.
I got a man crush on Paul Bettany, but I'm pretty sure I know my myself. I know myself. I'll just leave it
let's
at
move
that.
on.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Jeez. I thought we were PG. I thought that's what we were shooting for, guys. Gosh, machines and all that.
All right, what's your answer, Steven?
Uh, uh, I would kill Iron Man just to save the world from him because he's the
True.
problem mostly in all movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just like rid the world of his indirect evil. Marry Black Panther because he's a king and sovereign ruler of a country. That's
Mhm.
right, you get down with that. And um
You're running out of time. Clock's
uh,
ticking.
I'm trying to think. Dang.
You go all in, if you know what I mean. Right now.
I don't know. I really don't.
Be creative, but not too creative.
Not Bucky because he choked me out. He's still
Jesus.
he's under that Hydra influence. And he's got that metal arm. You don't think he's gonna use that? I'll probably not. Falcon would feel like he would cry in the middle of it.
Whoa.
How do you make these deductions? I'm so confused.
He's an emotional guy. He's very loyal. So
whatever, just get on with it.
Half of them are like animals and underage in a tree guardian.
I was fixing to say Rocket just for fun.
Oh, maybe Drax because based on his father tales, he would know.
He would know what?
He would know how to his partner. He heard stories from his father of how I would assume that. Plus, he's an emotional guy. Funny.
A day in the life of Steven. What about you, Tim?
Easy. Scarlet Witch, Captain America, and Groot.
Wait, what? You can't just list them off. Which one?
Oh, I was in that order of F, Mary Kill. Sorry.
You would kill Groot?
Yeah, because there's no consequence. He just comes back again.
Wait. Who did you say you'd marry?
Captain America?
Scarlet Witch. Oh, Captain America. Yes.
Yeah, he said Captain America, which he's a war criminal now.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? Hey, who are you to judge me? All right.
I guess stand by your man. I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Ride or die.
Also, Ned saying out loud that Peter knows Spider-Man, not true hero. Not a true hero.
Peter knows Spider-Man. Is that the
Shut up, Ned?
That was like it makes sense because that's what you would do is try to get use it to your advantage, kind of as Ned would. But dang, is that like the first time in a superhero movie that somebody else ruins the character?
Yeah. Um, Also as another added movie detail, which I thought we missed one where I saw where the Avenger robbers, the Avenger muggers are stealing the ATM. He first tries to when he uses the like anti-gravity whatever ray thing on Spider-Man. He initially tries to cling to the floor, but when he gets yanked up, he yanks up the tile, and then so when he gets slammed back down, and then he sticks onto the floor again, he sticks onto the concrete underneath, so he's able to get a not a grip on that. I thought that was just a nice little thing that they added in mid combat or whatever.
I was gonna say this movie has so many details. I know we're talking a lot about rewatchability later on, but dang, all the Easter eggs, all the things in the background that are only there for one frame, all the details with his suit, the surrounding areas, the way they work
The
his.
only detail that I didn't need was the symbol actually turning into a little robotic friend.
Oh
Did
yeah,
he ever name it? He didn't name it.
Droney.
Droney. He called it Droney.
Very
Droney?
Droney, very terrible and unoriginal.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man would have definitely came up with a better name than that. And they
Well,
didn't even.
hopefully Falcon will help him out.
Why? What?
Because he names him Red Wing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Death battle, Droney
It'll
and
be
Red
like
Wing.
Droney? Really?
Get on it, screw attack.
Oh
Droney and
my
Red Wing.
gosh. That's gotta
Death
happen.
battle. All right. Um, Also, the other thing that I noticed as the movie progresses, uh, Peter's phone gets more and more like cracked and destroyed from all the stuff he's does and all that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a really nice detail.
Can we talk
Uh,
about
Nice
how?
attention to detail.
Yeah, also how they relate to the other movies. I don't know. I just saw this one part where I think it's accurate. The way he raises his hand when Iron Man took away his suit, the way he raises his hand with the pen in it in Spanish class is, I think, almost exactly how Tobey Maguire raised his hand in college.
no, it's
Yes,
not.
I think it is.
That's reading
No,
into something I didn't pay too
because
much attention to.
you know what? I do. So Tom Holland clearly does a straight, elbow locked hand all the way up, whereas Toby Maguire does the 90-degree casual throws it up. He doesn't shoot
Yeah.
his hand up like
Okay,
Tom
no,
Holland
but
does.
it's the same hand pen. The hand and the pen are exactly the same.
Oh, how he holds the pen in his hand?
Yeah.
I think that's how all people hold the pen in their
Ah,
hand.
they could have changed it, but they decided to go with it. I'm so glad.
Well,
Little
It was
head
probably just a bad take.
McGuire.
yeah.
They
Anyway,
meant to copy it exactly. But anyway,
all right. I was gonna say, unless you had something to say, Chaz, real quick.
well, one final thing. Wow, now I'm forgetting it. It was
All right, wasn't
something.
important.
Wait. It had something to do with what were y'all saying before this?
The phone cracking.
The droney,
Cracking.
the drone on his chest.
Okay, just forget it. If I remember it, I'll just bring it up in my final thoughts.
As you usually do. All right, so I wanted to rate the three big action sequences that we kind of have in this. We have the Washington Monument kind of rescue, Washington Monument rescue. We have the ferry fight and rescue, and then we have the airplane slash. I guess I don't think they fight in that warehouse. They really, I guess they fight a little bit on the Coney Island beach, but the finale, those three big action sequences, how do those all rate? Which one's first? Which one's third?
Wait, what was the first one?
The Washington Monument rescue.
Oh, that's last. That's boring. Ooh, a rescue. And it took me 30 minutes to climb this building.
Well,
Wow.
even with the whole like talking to Karen and having to escape the truck to hurry up and get to them.
Oh, all of that.
Well, that was all kind of the same. As soon as he realizes that the thing is a bomb and he has to go and save them.
Yeah, that's still the bottom to me. And the second one was the ferry one. So the ferry one is first because that actually had some action. And the Coney Island was second because Peter Parker's a murderer because he killed those people in the Coney Island ride after he ran an airplane through it. That ride was running. It was full of people. They don't run those things empty. So that was full of people that are probably wearing shorts in New York. And they just got probably 1 to 2 people got killed, I think. And then he did save a bunch of items though, but then he just got beat up. So it's an action scene, then a beat up scene, then a rescue that took way too long. So that's the order, I think.
I would definitely have to go pretty much in backwards order of the movie. I would have to go the final battle as my number one favorite battle, uh, just because it was so seat gripping. It was intense. You could feel uh, just like the pain and anguish Peter was going through when he was trapped under the steel. And also you could feel emotion behind Vulture when, he finally realizes, whoa, like this is a kid that I'm doing this to. I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
And then this my second battle or second favorite would be the boat one, which was kind of somewhat spoiled for me in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Him pulling the boat together, and it
Yeah.
wasn't as great as some of the stuff that Spider-Man has done with his webs in the Sam Raimi movies, but it was still pretty cool. It was all right. And then my last one would have to be the Monument one as well.
Now, see, I think I'm kind of the opposite. I think mine is, I think it's as good as they've kind of in order of presentation. I think the monument scene is my most favorite, just because it's kind of like a thing that Spider-Man kind of does. He climbs up tall buildings and then saves somebody shooting webs and pulls them back up, and here you go,
Yeah.
boom. I did what Spider-Man normally does.
Well, see,
And
it
to
was
see
really
him,
intense, like seeing him in a high point. But then somebody
yeah,
compared it. They were like, "Oh man, this was like the Mission Impossible scene." And when I heard that comparison, I was just like, "Not real. It wasn't that intense," and it kind of spoiled it for me a little bit.
yeah, yeah. I thought it was pretty good in relation to how they set up Peter Parker and Spider-Man in the sense that this is kind of like the first time he's ever done something like this. So I thought that was a good a good starting point.
I
I
would
would
say
say the fairy scene is second. Um, the reason why it's not first is because I did see concept art of when Iron Man comes to fix the boat. Instead of bringing those little like rockets that help him, he brings War Machine and like Vision, and they help him with the ferry and the cleanup and that kind of stuff.
What?
Yeah,
How have I
and so I
not
was
seen
like,
this?
so the fact that I did not get more War Machine is negative. So yeah, there. I think it's like when it shows it, it's like Iron Man and like War Machine, and they're like lasering, they're like welding back the boat cracks or something like that. And then it shows like Vision either like phasing and picking people out of the cars or just like picking the car straight up
I would
out of the
say
water.
wouldn't the car chase scene where Peter or Spider-Man was chasing the shockers in the van, and then we get the first look at Vulture, fighting
The
Spider. Where he
the
picks
Ferris Bueller chase
Yeah, I
scene.
would say that's more actiony than the rescue.
I like the Washington Monument scene a lot more. The dragging along the car and the jumping from rooftops It didn't really feel that. I mean, it felt more of a we did this for the joke rather than like it felt like an action scene built around the joke. Like maybe how can we get him to run around the neighborhood?
Right.
Let's have him chase after the guys, and then Vulture shows up and throws him in the water or something. Like nothing
Yeah,
really happened in that one.
and the fact that they actually showed the Ferris Bueller scene was a little too tongue in cheek for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
that's why I didn't mention it. But go ahead, Sion, bring it up.
Well, I brought it up because how scary the Vulture was. It was like terrifying, just like that screech of metal and
Yeah.
him lifting him up and him freaking out.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the green eyes, those glowing green eyes.
yeah, that scene that scene as a whole wasn't terrible, just that one particular part. But I really like the part where he's out in like that field and has nothing to
Oh,
hook his webs onto.
the driving what's it called?
Driving
It's like
range.
golf. Driving range, yeah, driving range.
He's just like, this sucks.
Yeah. Also, jumping back to kind of the close finality, Peter shakes hands with a firm grip. True hero. True hero. Peter shakes hands.
Well, I mean,
Firm
of
grip.
course, of course, he's gonna have a firmer grip than poor old Michael Keaton.
So frail.
Peter saving Vulture. True hero. I think I'm glad that in the Spider-Man movie they didn't do the same MCU kill the villain kind of thing.
Well, see, I have a problem with that because the reason that they should have killed the villain is that because they had him explode. They're like, your wings are made out of the same material as that Chitauri bomb. You're probably gonna die. And then he's like, nah, I'm good. People love me as Vulture. And then he doesn't die. That's like the one time.
Well, because Peter saved him.
No, he didn't take the wingsuit off of him. He exploded like on his back. Like it was surrounding all of him and it exploded. He should have been.
He was wearing a jacket.
What? I don't know. And plus he was carrying energy Iron Man radioactive. What are they called?
Reactors.
Reactors. He was carrying reactors that power buildings, and I don't think they exploded with him, but I don't know. Dang. Thing took out a Washington Monument, and you're saying that it didn't kill one guy, it was strapped to his back too?
Yeah.
It tore a ferry boat in half, and yet it didn't kill this guy? This frail old man? I don't know. He should have died. I didn't want him to die. I love the character, but based on that, what they gave us, he should have died.
Yeah. Also, when Happy Hogan meets Peter Parker in the restroom, kid who washes his hands after washing, after going to the bathroom. True hero.
Even if it's in the middle of an awkward conversation between a grown man and a kid in a bathroom.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands, kids. Hopefully he told the principal.
All right. Yeah. So should we get into final thoughts?
Well, I mean, we didn't even talk about Iron Man.
What about Iron Man?
He was in the movie. Did he make the movie?
Really? I didn't notice.
Could you have made the movie Spider-Man without Iron Man?
Yeah. I could have.
Yep.
But he had to
But
the one thing I do have to say about Iron Man though, and it's a real quick thought, is that I wish this suit was our Infinity War suit. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't like the Iron Spider suit that much. Did they lighten Robert Downey Jr.'s hair for this movie? Because I feel he went from like black hair to like this is very light brown. I didn't know if they did that to be like, look, Tony's like Peter's dad or something like that, but it was very distracting. I was like, dude, like Tony got like basically like frosted tips up in here.
I think it's to match his true love, Gwyneth Paltrow, back in the saddle, them two. Just engaging, the ceremony, the wedding of, you know what? That's going to be Infinity War. That's how Infinity War starts, is with their wedding. I call it. It's going to be awesome. Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr. and Happy Hogan as the best man.
I mean, weddings in comics usually never end well.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the whole probably gonna be it's gonna be like Fantastic Four 2 again,
But I
except
did not. Yeah, I did not think about that.
with Thanos instead of Galactus or Silver Surfer or whatever.
Hey, it's their fault for having a wedding on an open roof. Nobody does that.
Don't you mean Doom Surfer?
Is that what they?
Remember,
Oh, that's right.
remember when
Dr.
Doom stole this surfboard?
That was
the true source of his power.
He didn't call him that though, which is good.
I know.
Like,
I know. I mean, I made that up.
Part of the movie. I don't care what you say. It's cool.
I don't care. All right. I think that's a good time for a transition into final thoughts. Okay.
Yeah. Who's going then?
You know what? I'll go first. I'll do it. Here we go. All right. Also, I remembered what I was going to say earlier, which was I still think Ultron is still alive because the head that Peter finds is totally still glowing. I don't care what you say, Tim. It's glowing. Ultron's coming back.
You know why it's glowing? Because he's in the Mind Stone. He's in the Vision Mind Stone.
I don't know about that later, but yeah. Age of Ultron or Return of Ultron. What is it called? I don't know. It was called something in the comics. Anyway, my final thoughts on this movie. Again, my all-time favorite Spider-Man movie will forevermore be, or as far as I know, will still be the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. That one still reigns supreme so far. This one was a huge improvement, though, coming off of Sony's two flops, that which being The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I thought were pretty bad misfires. This one, of course, was a big improvement. It was finally back with the MCU family. Tom Holland did a pretty fantastic job. It's a weird thing. I think he does supersede Tobey Maguire as Peter, but again, there's just circumstances in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man that I think were better, like him being more poor, I guess is a word to say. I don't know, or lower class. Because this one, I thought their apartment was like it was on a really nice side of town. Apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, I mean, it gave us one of the most memorable Marvel villains. I think, in retrospect, now that I think about it, I would probably put him second to Loki. I'm pretty sure. I can't really think of another villain at the moment.
Ultron? Even Ultron?
Well, Ultron was all right, but his rubber mouth, I mean, I've talked about that in the Ultron podcast or episode. Rubber mouth kind of detracted it from me or for me and some of the, quips and everything. But anyway, that's a different movie. But yeah, I mean, this one, it gave us a lot of good, memorable moments, and rewatchability yet again is, I could rewatch this movie over and over again. If I caught it on TV at a certain point, at any point in the movie, I would probably keep it on and keep the volume up, unlike, some other movies.
And open my eyes and close them.
But yeah, also we got a Childish Gambino in this movie, which we didn't even talk about. So yeah, a ton of memorable little cool nuggets in here.
The budget is, I think, very clear in this movie. Like sometimes you think about a movie and then you hear how much it was, it was needed to make it and all that, and you're like, what? That's crazy. This one, I think you can clearly see like, oh yeah, Like,
Yeah,
you can see the money in this movie.
most definitely. Um,
Oh,
but yeah,
gee.
I'm gonna have to give this movie 5 gems out of 6, or 5 Infinity Stones out of 6. It's definitely my second favorite Spider-Man movie. Um, that's right, for everybody listening. Spider-Man 2 is not my favorite. I know a lot of people like it.
Woo!
It was sort of campy for me. Sorry.
Spider-Man
Uh,
2
yeah, Sam
is
Raimi
not your
Spider-Man 2.
favorite?
No, no. Like a lot of
Uh,
people say that's like their number one. I'm like, really?
yeah,
That was your number one? But yeah, it's still Sam Raimi Spider-Man, first Spider-Man, and then this one is
yeah.
definitely number 2 on my list. But they have a lot of room for improvement. I mean, the sky's the limit at this point. They can go anywhere. They can do Spider-Verse. Do after Infinity War, it's going to get crazy. So I can't wait. I mean, they're definitely going to surprise us with a lot of stuff.
I'll go next, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. I don't know if anybody had any qualms. I just looked up the budget for Spider-Man Homecoming. $175 million. The box office, $880.2 million. That's crazy. I mean, granted, it's from the best-selling Marvel or superhero of all time from Spider-Man. So I guess, but I don't know. Seeing those numbers and it's pretty crazy. Like you said, we Childish Gambino or Donald Glover is in this movie. That scene really kind of I think is the best of both worlds of Peter and Spider-Man like combining together, just like having the young age of Peter Parker where he's like, okay, cool, thanks. And then he's like, wait, I didn't tell you where you're supposed to go. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Go ahead, tell me. And then the part where he's leaving, he's like, you deserve that. You deserve that, Mr. Criminal. You know, that's going to wear off in 2 hours. That's the kind of the Spider-Man part of like just the quips and the berating of criminals is awesome. Uh, yeah, I was gonna say Tom Holland's a great character. Michael Keaton is the best of the best. We get Iron Man, which we always I don't know. I think we talked about this in Black Panther, our episode for that, but we got another superhero within a superhero film, and we're gonna get that with Ragnarok, and we got that with Ant-Man, and we got that, Civil War had a bunch of heroes. It wasn't even a Captain America trilogy, basically. Um, but yeah, so we got Iron Man. Could probably deal without. We didn't talk about Aunt May and how young she was. I mean, looking up pictures.
Because a million people talk about it, Steven. That's why we're not talking about the obvious things.
Right, I guess so. I'm just saying it was.
Otherwise, this podcast would be like super long if we kept on talking about everything that's been covered.
And also keep it in your pants, Steven.
Well, no, I was gonna say it was very uncomfortable.
I said keep it in your pants. Okay.
It was uncomfortable trying to find photos for this film to be appropriate because half of that it was like look up 700 pictures for Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm like, okay, cool. And then like 400 of them are Aunt May in every shot she's in. I'm like, oh God. So,
Yep, I'm looking at them right now.
yep. Okay. The action's pretty good. The way I don't know, I think they added a liveliness to Spider-Man in this one. He's much more kind of jittery and buggy and just lively. He's a lively Spider-Man. He's not brooding over a rooftop about how difficult being Spider-Man with his life is. He's just like bored or either really jittery and not wanting to fight, but wanting to do something. I really appreciate that new outlook. The school was great. Everything we talked about. Trying to look at my previous reviews and how I feel based on this one. I think I'm gonna have to agree with the doc and give it a 5 Infinity Stones out of 5. Put those 5.
It's not 5 out of 5.
5 out of 6.
All right. Yeah. I think both of those scores are fair. Yeah, definitely. I think there are a lot of great moments in this movie that uh, I enjoyed. I think it's tough finding. I mean, there's a lot of good moments in it, and I think that it goes with like everyone has different moments that they enjoy about this movie. Um, yeah, uh, yeah. Uh, I think that the main villain arc it's a good scale conflict for a Spider-Man. The Spider-Man story. He's both terrifying and violent, but he's not big or beyond of the scope of what this movie should be. We don't get any like crumbling buildings or sky beams or anything like that.
Ridiculous crumbling building when Vulture dropped a building on him.
Right. It's true. I guess that technically counts, but I didn't mean like skyscrapers.
Okay.
But speaking about that scene, yeah, I think Tom Holland does a great teenage Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield tried until he yelled at Aunt May, and then I couldn't forgive him. I think Tobey Maguire did a good job of doing Peter Parker, but not a teenage Peter Parker. Unfortunately, I mean, he went from it. It jumped too quick to senior until I got to be considered teenage Peter Parker, and graduating and having a job and all that. But Peter under that rubble, when we get that iconic scene from the comics of just him screaming and begging for help, and you're just like, geez, that was some like prime acting there we get from Tom Holland. And then for him having to support himself and doing it by himself, there was just a lot of those. There was plenty of those moments where it's just really good. Karen was a fun addition into this movie. There's a lot of things that the Marvel Studios does on their own accord that I think is just a great addition to their version. She really wants to murder people, she she just wants to two prime objectives for Karen: kill people and get Peter laid.
Thank goodness she's not with the Punisher, just like kill mode.
Yeah.
Activate kill mode now.
Yeah, clearly you can tell this is an AI made by Tony Stark. But yeah. Marvel Studios did a great take on it. Like Steven said, this movie did very well for 2017. Although it kind of just sits in the middle based on like the top 10 films. I mean, it didn't touch Star Wars: The Last Jedi, but it was way better than Wonder Woman,
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry, what?
I don't know. Wonder Woman was pretty great. Had a lot more action scenes.
Well, based off the dollars it made, Spider-Man: Homecoming is better than Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but we're talking about a franchise that's like 3 movies away from the Infinity War that took 10 years to build. You can't.
And Wonder Woman was 3 movies away from Justice League, what we were supposed to be building up to, but then we got it.
Not 10 years build up. Not 10 years build up.
And with how long they took, it seemed like 10 years. Wait, you guys want a Suicide Squad movie? No, Man of Steel 2. What's that? Black Hawk. All right, you got it. No, Man of Steel 2.
What? A totally separate Joker origin movie that's not even connected to our main continuity? All right.
If you guys
Scorsese's on it.
Batgirl. You got it. Just as soon as we figure out who wants to do it.
By the way, world of the interwebs, it's Scorsese, all right? It's not Scorsese. I don't care what you say. I don't even care. I don't even care if he says Scorsese. I'm calling him whatever I want because that's my goddamn right. But back to what you were saying.
What were you saying?
I was just saying that it sits right in the middle. Like it wasn't. I feel like it's not a universally loved Spider-Man movie. Kind of like what Chaz was saying earlier on. It's not his new favorite Spider-Man movie. I think nostalgia is also, though, a hard thing to beat with people who grew up with Tobey Maguire. Same thing with, slightly older, slightly younger ones who grew up on Andrew Garfield. They think that he's the superior Spider-Man or the Peter Parker or something like that. Not superior Spider-Man. I mean, we'll get that to that hopefully later on.
All I know is
Um,
that Ultron is going to return in the Rage of Ultron. I just remembered the name of it.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm kind of having struggling with. I feel like the sequels in this trilogy, hopefully, will be better than this movie.
It's
Um,
definitely a make it or break it.
yeah, I think this movie is good, however, but is it the best? I mean, that's what 6 out of 6 means, is it's kind of a perfect movie. And there are moments that I'm kind of having a hard time swallowing. I mean, the scene what I was mentioning earlier was when he's under the rubble and he reflects onto what Tony said. If you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. I felt that that was a perfect opportunity for us to finally get with great power comes great responsibility. Tony's little saying that he said to him like yesterday or whatever shouldn't have that big of an impact on him in this dire need. I
Boo!
mean,
The kid
what
idolized Spider-Man. He wanted to be him. Of course, he's
he
gonna
idolized
listen.
Spider-Man?
No, he idolized Iron Man. Of course, he's gonna take every
Okay.
word he said to his heart.
But what you have to think of what made him put on the first costume, the underoos. What was it that drove him to put on that costume in the first place?
What he said in Civil War: when bad things happen and you could stop those bad things, and it's on you.
Exactly. Basically, with great power comes great responsibility. So to have in this moment where he's again knocked down and he's lying on the floor and he's lost basically all hope, he should remember to where he started from and being like, with great power comes great responsibility. And instead, we got, you know, an Iron Man kind of off the cuff pep talk. So there are times where I'm struggling to tear myself away from being a Spider-Man fan, being a growing up with the Raimi films and all that kind of stuff, and trying to see this movie from an is it objective or subjective?
Subjective.
Whatever. Yeah, standpoint. And so yeah, I think this movie's really good, and it depends on rewatchability. And if it, like I said, if it's on, I'm gonna stop what I'm doing and watch it. So I'm gonna put this at 6 out of 6.
Dang, that took a lot of time for every. We knew what your answer was going to be, and that took forever to find out.
I
I
actually
think,
did not know he was going to rate it like that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
I was gonna say, I think it's super tough. I wanted to give it a five and I wasn't gonna give it a 5.5 because I think that's kind of what this movie deserves. Is it's not the best, but it's really good, and hopefully the sequels are better. So I didn't want to give it a 5 out of 6 because I feel like I gave a lot of movies 5 out of 6, and it's like, but this is better than those. This is
Yeah.
better than those movies, but at the same time, it's not perfect. Like I was trying to compare it to the other movies I gave 6 out of 6 to, like Winter Soldier or the Avengers. Like those movies are, we they nailed it at their time. They nailed it. And I think this movie, even in this time, that's why I was looking at the box office, it didn't really nail it. It kind of just fell right in the middle. It was very divisive with the community. So yeah,
Can I just say a couple
it's
things
tough.
I kind of forgot to mention? Is that the montage scenes? There was a lot of them, and I love each and every one of them. The way
Hmm.
that Ned pesters Peter with questions, the way that Peter gets ready for homecoming with Aunt May, and then it's like a happy song, and you're like, do do do, getting back on my feet, do do do, getting homecoming ready, and then the music cuts right in the middle when Michael Keaton opens the door. That was amazing, also.
Yeah, I think what's it? I think when like I tried to envision myself as when I was like 10 years old watching the first Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 or whoever, uh, and saw Tobey Maguire, like I saw that movie and was like, I want to be like this dude, not the Peter Parker side, but the Spider-Man side. And I was like, I want,
I want to be really poor.
I don't want to be hated. But yeah, I was like, I want to be like this dude. He was a great inspiration / role model or whatever for kids. When I saw the Andrew Garfield one, I imagined myself as a 10-year-old and watching it, and I was like, I don't want to be like this guy. And like he seems like a total like jerk / he didn't seem like a guy that want to be. When I watched this movie and I was seeing Tom Holland up on the screen, stuff like that, I could see 10-year-old self looking at this and being like, dude, I want to be like this Spider-Man.
Yeah, because this Spider-Man got $1 million suit from Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Well,
yeah,
he didn't use the $1 billion suit to fight Vulture.
Okay, cool.
So, like, I mean, that proved his point.
You know what would have ended the fight sooner and saved those Coney Island people? The $1 million suit.
Instant kill mode.
Insta kill mode.
Oh my god.
As soon as he popped up, like, I'm sick of you interfering with my and just like kill. You know, you're at the end of your web, Spider-Man. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is Garfield was like a very angsty, selfish wino.
Wino.
I mean, he played the teenager part right, but Peter Parker is a special case, like he isn't just every teenager. That's kind of the tough part, is that, it was a hard aspect to grasp, I think, for him. I mean, he played a really good Spider-Man. I felt like that attitude shined enough when he was Spider-Man, but when he was Peter Parker, it was hard to make that transition back to, okay, you've taken the mask off, you have to be a different person.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time to head to the negative zone. Because we are starting to get a little negative. I think I feel the chill coming on. Is that the negative zone over there? It is. Let's head on over there, guys. Let's step through the doorway.
All right. Just let the music do its thing.
Well, if we were talking about the Amazing Spider-Man movies, we would have started Negative Zone.
Oh no,
we would have just started off the podcast.
It would have just been an hour and a half long Negative Zone.
That movie sucks.
The Amazing Spider-Man and Crane Dad.
Crane? Oh yeah.
Crane Dad's my favorite Spider-Man character.
I got you, Spider-Man. All Crane aligned together to form.
That's gonna be MCU Uncle Ben.
Oh, if MCU Uncle Ben, like, no joke, if they do MCU Uncle Ben and it's not Tobey Maguire, there's gonna be a lot of upset people, including myself.
That's why they're not doing it. They're trying to get in contract with him right now.
Exactly. Well, hey, technically, this movie was a Sony movie, so it's not like Tobey Maguire is going to be like picking sides or anything.
Just get on it. You're not doing anything, all right? All your movies have kind of flopped. All right, you did that one movie where it was like black and white, one part, and then the other part it was like not.
You don't really have to do anything. Just
what was that movie called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly, because nobody watched it.
Just put on a sweater vest, take a picture with your arm around Marisa Tomei, and that's it. And then we'll just put it like on a desk or something in the background.
And then Iron Man.
That's it. That's all we need you to do.
Iron Man goes into his apartment again and sees it and be like, huh, looks like a crybaby. And then be like, that's my Uncle Ben who died trying to save me. Oh, still looks like a crybaby to me.
Why are his pits sweating around Marisa Tomei?
Yeah, exactly. I know. how about this? How about this? Two pictures. It's like a what's it? What are they called? Like those photo booth strips.
Yeah.
And
Oh
then
yeah,
and then one of them is like everyone's kind of doing a funny face or whatever, and all of the ones Toby's doing Toby faces, where it's like he's doing that stopping the train face. What he's doing that one. He's doing the crying Uncle Ben face
the
when
weird
everyone's like doing
smile,
sad.
elf
Yeah,
smile. I don't know what to call it. McGuire
he does
smile.
the emo hairstyle one like that. That's what I want. That would be like piece de resistance. That'd be top quality, high, top shelf. Awesome, Uncle Ben, Tobey Maguire. Anyway, negative
Yeah.
zone. What you got?
Yeah. I was gonna say that's a little positive. Have your hopes up.
I, I
I
I
would say this
I got
about the negative
excited.
is that it was hard to find like the top 38 were all 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5 was the lowest one that I saw. I had to really search for some negative ones. But once it started, it got real negative real fast. It's just that the positive reviews were the top like 30 or 40. But
You just gotta stir it around. Gotta get to the chunks.
okay. I got one from Azuka fan. I don't know if that's a reference to something. Azuka fan on July 13th.
Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Uh,
right?
am I saying it right then? Azuka?
What's oh no, Azula. That's what I'm thinking of.
No. Yeah, it's definitely
Dang.
July 13th, 2017. Gave it a big ol' whopping 1 out of 10. Worst movie adaptation of Spider-Man ever. Did the Homecoming writers actually think that pushing together the two split halves of the ferry boat would stop the boat from sinking? And why did Iron Man just fly away after pushing the two split halves of the ferry boat together, without even checking if any of the passengers might be injured and need to be airlifted to the hospital? And why were there cars on the Staten Island ferry? Don't the writers know that cars haven't been allowed on the Staten Island ferry after 9/11? And why doesn't Spider-Man have spider sense in the MCU? I know he does, but still. That's just me talking. When Peter ditched Liz at the homecoming dance and leaves the building, he gets ambushed outside by one of the bad guys. No way that should happen with spider sense. So he definitely doesn't have spider sense in MCU. Also, the absurdity of the Washington Monument scene. The elevator of the Washington Monument gets blown up by a bomb by that fat kid had. DHS would have interrogated the fat kid about where he got the bomb, and the fat kid would have been held in custody until he gave up Peter as the guy who gave him the bomb. Then DHS would have investigated Peter and would have been suspicious as to why Peter, at the last minute, decided to rejoin the academic decathlon after quitting the team earlier and travel with them to Washington, D.C., only to skip out on the decathlon competition and then skip out on the team's trip to Washington Monument on the same day that his best friend blows up the elevator in the Washington Monument using a bomb that Peter gave him. And DHS would have gotten a warrant to search Aunt May's apartment. So,
I
Wow.
kind of agree with some points.
yeah, I mean, this guy, wow, he
I
did.
my only problem is that not my only problem. My only thing that I agree with him is the whole Washington Monument thing. I could see them not interrogating Ned, because they're not really sure if it was him. But why didn't, my theory and my whole thing is if, the police kind of were pointing guns towards Spider-Man on the outside. So do the police think Spider-Man did it? And if so, why isn't like Spider-Man hated now as he kind of normally is in the comics and like in the Sam Raimi verse? I feel like Tom Holland, Peter Parker, and Spider-Man are too well liked in the movie. Like he's just like no one's ever really mad at him besides like Vulture.
And Flash.
Well, Flash like Spider-Man. He just
Well,
doesn't like Peter.
Tony, I think, was a uh, disliked Peter for a moment.
Who's Tony?
Tony Stark.
Stark.
What? He doesn't like Peter, but he likes Spider-Man? What are you saying?
No.
Well, no, he was upset with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
I'm
that's
saying.
different. That's different. Anyway, my
What
whole
are
thing
we-
is that would have been a good thing, I think, to ingrain in the story is that like, okay, everyone technically in the world because they watch the regular news and the news is saying, oh, Spider-Man tried to blow up the Washington Monument like J. Jonah Jameson style. And like he's a menace, you know? And it's like, dang, Spider-Man, you really messed this one up. And then the school news thing is like the only one that knows, and they're all like, woo, go Spider-Man. Yeah, we love you. Forget what those people say.
Yeah.
I would say
Well,
That would have been cool to see.
when the police arrived, they saw Spider-Man next to the blown up Washington Monument. So they had no idea he wasn't there at the scene when it blew up. They just like, there's the guy, there's the, bomb. So I would say that,
yeah.
and plus Tony Stark, who did call him about it when he was on the Fairy Island, he was like, good job on DC. That was great what you did. So I assume Tony Stark / Iron Man came in and was like, hey, that guy's with me. He's cool. He did not do the bomb. So I'm
Well,
pretty
then, if he did say that, why did he need to make the announcement as the official Avengers thing if he already said, hey, he's with me?
What do you mean?
Hmm.
At the very end, where he makes this big old press conference, I'm going to announce that Spider-Man's an Avenger.
Because
If
that's
he,
the media. And
huh?
that's the media he was going to announce him to. We're talking about like secret government CIA and DHS.
I don't know.
I think it was, now that Tim brings it up, it was kind of a missed opportunity because what they could have done was have Spider-Man sort of be like the final straw for the public because they've seen the Battle of New York happen. They've seen all this crazy stuff happen around the world in Sokovia and whatnot.
Now they're attacking the Washington Monument?
No,
Not
not
in
just
my
that.
house.
Not just that, but the fact that Spider-Man is a kid, like, I'm sure most people can tell that he's younger than an average Avenger. And it could be like, it could have been something to the effect of like, oh, well, now they're drafting kids, or something like that. And
Yeah.
it could have
Yeah, I mean,
upset
I think we got a taste
people.
of that in Civil War. I mean, when people are like, like, dude, this guy's young and all that kind of stuff. Like, even the other people fighting, as they're destroying airplanes and stuff like that. Like, the kid's pretty young. But yeah, I felt like I could see that. I think Peter and Spider-Man are a little too well liked in this, and there's a lot of missed opportunities in this to do it more like the source material. So I think that, you know,
One of the other things that this review brought out, though, was something that I had said when I first walked out of the movie, but it was more of just a uh, how I normally do, where I point out something and then I just forget about it. But the boat not sinking, like I was saying when I had first walked out of this movie, I was like, yeah, that boat probably should have sank. Like if there was water rushing into the sides of, each part or each half, it probably would have sank a lot faster. But again, none of this is real, people. I don't know if you knew that.
yeah, I don't
This
know how
is
boats work. I don't know enough about boats to dispute it, so I can't really. I don't
well,
have a leg to stand up.
you could kind of clearly see that there were like huge pockets where those cars were, and water could have totally gotten into those pockets. But anyway,
Yeah, but
it's a movie.
but it's made out of like metal, so I don't know how that stays up above water in the first
Oh, I see
place.
what you're saying. I see what
Well,
you're
I don't know how boats work. So
saying.
it's like, oh no, it's filled with water, it's heavier. It's like, is that a problem? Because it was like made out of metal before, and there was a bunch of people and cars on it. Like, I don't understand.
well, if you remember when he first when the ferry was first getting like lifted back together and he was like kind of confused of what happened, you heard like the metal thrusters, the tiny thrusters being put on the boat, but you didn't really see them. And then like two more cases came So I think what happened is that one case went to the bottom of the boat and lifted it up, thus draining the water. And then the two other cases put it together, and then he sealed it up and left.
I
That's
don't
a
know.
good theory.
I'm just saying we should have seen War Machine and Vision there.
We have seen Iron Man underwater before.
Yep. Okay, so I got another one from do sentiment maybe October 1st 2017 gave it another whopping 1 out of 10. It says
Wow.
entertainment for 12-year-olds. If you are a 12-year-old and below, you will love this movie and give it a high rating. But if you're over 12, you will be very annoyed by this movie. The dialogue is so immature and boring that it will put you to sleep. The acting is the worst I have ever seen in a movie. It's like they just picked a bunch of people off the street and put them in front of a camera. The plot is no better. It's like a 6-year-old wrote it. If you are over 12 years old and you enjoy this movie, I suggest you check yourself into a mental health institution with immediate effect. Your brain is seriously underdeveloped.
It's a little harsh.
Sounded more like an attack than a review.
Yeah.
I feel like
This sounds like a very I hate the young people kind of thing. Am I getting too old to... No, it's the children that are wrong.
I don't know what people have against 12-year-olds, but that's like the line between smart and dumb children, I guess.
Well, as we all know, when you're 13, you are legally an adult because
No.
13 is the age where you can legally do cocaine.
What is
Therefore,
happening?
an adult. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just is happy that he knows age difference. I don't know.
I think I kind
Seems
of
like he was throwing out a lot of numbers.
I think I can kind of see where he's coming from, but like he was expecting like a Winter Soldier level kind of plot where it's like somewhat political and it questions morality and you don't know who to trust and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But
this is like the first high school superhero we got.
Yeah, it's a high school kid who's a superhero. It's like he's
it's different from any Marvel movie.
Spider-Man is supposed to be a little simple.
Yeah.
However, it's straightforward. But I think I can hopefully the next couple of movies do kind of get into more meatier, serious topics. Not necessarily saying this movie wasn't serious. I feel like Vulture, his whole understanding, that's what he his whole monologue when he confronts Peter near the end, he's just like, I'm telling you this because I want you to understand. Like, that's all he wants to be understood. You see where he's coming from.
That's why I tried to kill you, Pedro. It's because I want to have a better life for my daughter.
I'm tired of being stepped on. So I will grow wings and fly above my enemies.
And kill children. I'll kill you, Pete. You and your family. I'll kill you right in front of this high school dance and ruin everyone's night.
You're dead. You fat friend, you hot aunt. Everyone you love.
Tony?
But I love,
probably not Tony.
I love Liz. So, are you gonna kill your own daughter?
You ever see Scream Queens? Well, I haven't, but my daughter watches it. So it's gonna happen tonight. There's gonna be blood everywhere. Your blood, spider blood,
radioactive spider blood.
All right. What a way.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
I do have another one, but it's short and it basically says the same thing. Dude, I don't want to read it.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you paraphrase it? Is he just going to call me a 12-year-old again?
Yeah, basically. But this time he goes back in time and says that it's bad, cringe-worthy '90s kid TV show. It's full of cheese and unfunny forced jokes. Very thin storyline. Um, Everything can be summed up in one word: incompetence. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, do yourself a favor and stay away from this one.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I think it's safe to say that 75% of the population right now likes cheese. I know we have this thing called nachos. It's big, very popular. We also like pizza. We're big fans of cheese. This is America,
This
everybody.
is
All
why I
right.
didn't want to do another one. You guys get weird after two.
uh, I I mean, I think again, this film deals with a very beloved character. I mean, Spider-Man sells the most merchandise. He's the most iconic and recognizable hero out of the majority of them.
It says
So if it's not going to tend to everyone's needs.
it says when over 60 years of what made Spider-Man great gets tossed out in this film.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is
Um,
pretty crazy to say.
a lot of people, kind of are still around who remember the beginning of Spider-Man and all, like, that revolution that starts. And this is kind of a, this isn't that, if you, however anyone is introduced to Spider-Man, this isn't that. And that's, I think, tough because everyone has that kind of special, moment when they're introduced to Spider-Man. And this isn't going to be exactly like that. So I think you kind of have to, it's the younger generation, man. You can't do too much
Yeah.
about it.
That
Well,
was
also what I
given.
was gonna say too is like as far as cheese goes or
Okay.
camp or whatever you want to call it. No, no, no. This isn't a joke. Sorry,
Okay.
this
Good.
isn't a
Good.
joke.
Let him
Because
tell him his cheese analogy.
some stuff can be really campy, and trust me, I'm right there with you. Whatever your name was,
I was gonna say he's
anonymous
the opinion guy. The opinion guy came back.
opinion guy. Because I'm not a huge fan of camp either, but some characters need the good side of camp, which most people call pulp. They need that pulpy side. Like you can't. No, nobody would adapt a Mike Allred Madman movie and not make it pulpy. There's just no way to do that. You can't make it a serious, dark, gritty, mature, or whatever, uh, R-rated movie because that's just not what he is. That's not what the character calls for. So I mean, Spider-Man, he is very, he's the highest end of pulp. He's kind of he doesn't really fall into that category, I don't think, but um, there are some pulpy moments that he's had in comic book history.
That's I really can't tell if you're joking or not about pulp. But
That,
it was a
that's
pretty good, it's a
that's
pretty good
pulp.
analogy.
That's what it is. Pulp comics.
It was given by the opinion guy. Gave it a 1 out of 10. Entitled it "Worst Spidey to Date." It hurts my heart to say this. Yeah, that's horrible.
It's not worse than Crane Dad, so I disagree. That's
Is that the first one
Yeah,
or the second one?
the first one.
Really? I like the first one because the second one left you too much. They're like, look at
The second one is a better, I feel like, action film.
yeah,
Because
but
I
it
can turn
left
my brain off. I can see the flashy lights and the slow-mo bullet time action scenes and all that. The first one is just, it's so bad.
it left you though with too much. They're like, we're gonna set up the Sinister Six, and there's gonna be a Venom and a Doctor Octopus movie, and we got Green Goblin and the Rhino already, and it's gonna be
No,
a
that
whole thing. And Peter's dad is still alive. What? And then they just ended it.
that was a deleted scene. That doesn't count.
It was just a lot. Okay, I think we're done, right?
Yeah, we started talking about Amazing Spider-Man and I got sad again.
Oh.
We need to leave this
I
negative
left.
space.
I'm gone.
All right.
Ugh.
All right, guys. So that's been our episode
I got it.
review and discussion for Spider-Man Homecoming. Let us know what you guys think about this film. Is there stuff you agree with? Is there stuff about that you disagree with? Please let us know down in those comments. If you liked or disliked this video, please let us know by clicking those thumbs up or thumbs down. We appreciate the criticism, whether positive or not. That helps us mend this channel and tailor it to a form of entertainment that we know you guys will enjoy. Um, if you guys want to know when our next upcoming reviews go up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, I guess, you know, if you want to do it. I don't do that. I'll just subscribe. That's good enough for me. Um, so yeah, our next one is going to be Thor Ragnarok. So the third and final film in the Thor trilogy. Um, we're gonna can't wait to review that one, guys, right?
Yep, I'm gonna get a haircut specifically for that movie.
Will Stan
Oh.
Lee be your hair cutter?
No, no, because I don't trust old guys with sharp things near my head.
Eh,
Yeah, man.
whatever you
Yeah,
say.
man. Yeah, man. Uh, all right. So, yeah, we also wanted to again bring to all your attention. We are doing our giveaway for the upcoming release of Infinity War. We will be giving away the Toys R Us exclusive Marvel Legends 2-pack, showcasing the Marvel Cinematic Universe versions of Scarlet Witch and Vision. Um, so if you guys are fans of the movies, if you are a fan of these characters, if you are a fan of toys, action figures, Marvel comics, whatever, if you're a fans of Toys R Us, this is going to be one of these, this item is going to be what you want in your collection, in your house, at your friend's house, and in your car. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it,
This is a Toys R Us exclusive, meaning it ain't gonna come out again because they're shutting down. You probably can't find anything. You can barely find Play-Doh at these stores now. They're so out of stock. So we got one just for you guys. This is the only Vision to come out other than that ghosty Vision that if you guys have to repaint that, you don't have to repaint this one. This one is exactly like the MCU version, and it's awesome. And it's just for you guys. A 2-pack with Scarlet Witch. Will they do House of M in the future? Who knows?
probably not, because they're not. There's no mutants, so what would be the point?
Sure. Yeah, sure, Tim. Yeah. No mutants. Guess somebody did
Anyway,
the trailer.
I swear to God, if y'all spoil anything, Steven, I'm gonna.
What?
so
Me?
anyway,
Spoiling?
so yeah, if you guys want to know how to enter this giveaway for this, you can visit our Instagram page at Watchers Week. There we have the instructions on one of our posts. You can also follow us on Instagram to know when we put up our reviews. We do make a post there to let you guys know with the most recent episode link in our bio there. Speaking of Instagrams, Steven, where can people find you if they want to get to know you better or talk with you more?
You can find me at _nerdtron, NERDTRON, Nerdtron. There, I'm just on Instagram.
All right, yeah, that's yeah. Chaz, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me. Where can you find me? I don't even know.
Oh, I know where to
Um,
find you.
do you?
Yeah.
Do you know where to find? What? What?
Did you change your
I thought I couldn't be found. I thought I was invisible. Um, yeah, y'all can find me on Instagram at Dr. Cosmic. Um, there I post. What is that app? Oh my gosh, I don't know why I was gonna make a joke and now I just ruined it. But what was that app that's like dying off right now? Like it tried
Vine.
to take over Instagram.
Snapshot?
It's oh my, just forget it. I'm all out of jokes. Is what I am. You know.
Messenger, WhatsApp.
No, it starts with a V, I think.
Boxer?
Is it? No, no. That's a couple years old now.
Okay. I don't use that at all. Yeah.
Anyway, Zack Snyder was on there, and it's like the only reason people go to this new app, but it's dying, so whatever. Anyway, yeah, Instagram, Dr. Cosmic. I post fig pics, comic stuff that I'm reading, comic books, and pretty soon we're gonna be talking Infinity War. Oh my gosh, the more I talk
Yay.
about Infinity War, just the more I say that we're gonna be seeing that movie in what, 4 days now. It's
It's
insane.
getting up. It's getting up there.
It's blowing my mind. I don't know what
Way
I'm gonna
too close
do.
for comfort.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
might faint. I might faint.
Again, my name is Tim. You can find me at Fishbone Malone on Instagram. You technically can find me at Fishbone Malone on Facebook. However, I'm not going to be active as I am on Instagram because I don't mess with Facebook as much as anymore. And currently, right now, I'm not on Instagram that much as I'm avoiding spoilers. Speaking of Infinity War, but after that, after I see it, I'll be back to posting. There we talk about comic books. We talk about movies. It's just a great place to chill out. Get away from the world and focus on the things that make us nerds.
I'm gonna love we listening to these podcasts because they're gonna be pre Infinity War, and we're gonna be like, oh man,
So
we have no
innocent.
idea what's gonna come. And we hope you guys do that too. After watching Infinity War, come back, see what it was like before having your favorite characters die off.
Yeah. Also, we appreciate all those that have already left comments in there. We appreciate all our subscribers as well as our newly subscribed, all our followers out there. Yeah, all your support helps us continue on making these reviews and episodes. And after Infinity War, they're still making MCU movies, so maybe we'll continue. Maybe we'll dive off into one of the Netflix films or one or the other. But yeah, let us know what you guys want us to do. Or yeah, all right. I think that does it. We'll see you guys next week as we review Thor Ragnarok. As always, you guys keep listening, and we'll keep on watching.